Welcome to Motivemystery, where the wisdom of the ages meets the challenges of today. In this video, we delve into the life and influential works of Hannah Arendt, a distinguished philosopher and political theorist. Arendt, renowned for her deep analysis of the nature of power and the politics of totalitarianism, remains a vital figure in contemporary thought. Her most notable works, including The Human Condition and Eichmann in Jerusalem, explore the complexities of human nature, authority, and moral responsibility. Arendt's thought-provoking insights challenge us to consider the essence of human action and the responsibility we hold in shaping our societies. Moreover, her concept of the banality of evil has profoundly influenced our understanding of moral and ethical dilemmas in the modern world. Join us as we explore 30 of Hannah Arendt's most impactful quotes and their relevance to our lives today. The sad truth is that most evil is done by people who never make up their minds to be good or evil. Hannah Arendt, exploring themes of morality, observed how ordinary people could commit evil acts not from strong conviction, but due to a lack of critical engagement with their actions. This quote implies that evil often arises not from a choice to do wrong, but from a lack of decision or reflection on what is good. Today, Arendt's words challenge us to actively choose goodness and ethical conduct, reminding us that our actions shape the world. Storytelling reveals meaning without committing the error of defining it. This observation by Arendt highlights the power of storytelling to convey deep truths without limiting them to rigid interpretations. At its core, this quote celebrates the unique ability of stories to express complex ideas in a way that invites multiple perspectives. In a world increasingly seeking black and white answers, this quote reminds us of the value of ambiguity and the richness it brings to our understanding. The most radical revolutionary will become a conservative the day after the revolution. Arendt's statement reflects on the paradoxical nature of political change, where yesterday's rebels become today's establishment. This quote delves into the irony that change makers often resist further change once their goals are achieved. In our ever-evolving world, this insight warns against complacency in progress, urging continuous questioning and adaptation. The ideal subject of totalitarian rule is not the convinced Nazi or the convinced communist, but people for whom the distinction between fact and fiction, i.e. the reality of experience, and the distinction between true and false, i.e. the standards of thought, no longer exist. Arendt's analysis here dissects the psychological underpinnings of totalitarianism, emphasizing how it thrives on the blurring of reality. This profound quote underscores the dangers of a society losing its grip on objective truth, making individuals susceptible to manipulation. In an age of information overload and fake news, this message serves as a crucial reminder to maintain critical thinking and discernment. The aim of totalitarian education has never been to instill convictions but to destroy the capacity to form any. Arendt's observation critiques the core objective of totalitarian regimes in education: to stifle independent thought. This quote emphasizes the sinister goal of such regimes, not to enlighten, but to prevent individuals from developing their own ideas and beliefs. In today's world, this serves as a stark reminder of the importance of protecting educational spaces as places of free thought and inquiry. There are no dangerous thoughts. Thinking itself is dangerous. Arendt challenges the common perception that only certain thoughts are hazardous, arguing instead that the act of thinking itself can be subversive. This profound statement suggests that the power of thinking lies in its ability to question, disrupt, and challenge the status quo. Arendt's insight is especially relevant today, reminding us of the need to nurture critical thinking as a tool for societal progress and innovation. The trouble with Eichmann was precisely that so many were like him, and that the many were either perverted nor sadistic, that they were, and still are, terribly and terrifyingly normal. From the viewpoint of our legal institutions and of our moral standards of judgment, this normality was much more terrifying than all the atrocities put together. Arendt's analysis of Eichmann underscores the disturbing normality of those who perpetrate atrocities. This quote illuminates the terrifying reality that the perpetrators of horrific deeds are often ordinary people, not markedly different from others. In the context of our contemporary society, This observation serves as a cautionary tale about the potential for evil and normality, and the importance of vigilant moral consciousness. Loving life is easy when you are abroad. When no one knows you and you hold your life in your hands all alone, you are more master of yourself than at any other time. Arendt captures the essence of freedom and self-discovery that comes with being in a foreign land, away from familiar settings. This quote speaks to the liberating experience of exploring new environments and cultures, finding oneself in the process. In our interconnected world, it reminds us of the value of stepping out of our comfort zones to gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world. Before mass leaders seize the power to fit reality to their lies, their propaganda is marked by its extreme contempt for facts as such, for in their opinion fact depends entirely on the power of man who can fabricate it. Arendt's statement dissects the dangerous dynamics of propaganda and its deliberate distortion of truth. This quote highlights the tactics of manipulating reality to suit political agendas, often disregarding objective truth. In an era of fake news and misinformation, this observation serves as a critical reminder of the importance of discerning truth and challenging deceptive narratives. Forgiveness is the key to action and freedom. Arendt offers a profound insight into the liberating power of forgiveness, not just as a moral virtue, but as a catalyst for change and renewal. This quote emphasizes that forgiving allows us to move past grievances and opens up pathways to new possibilities and healing. In a world often torn by conflict and resentment, Arendt's words highlight the essential role of forgiveness in fostering reconciliation and personal freedom. A line came into my mind, something that Hannah Arendt once said about the poet Auden, that life had manifested the heart's invisible furies on his face. This reflective quote from Arendt about Auden illustrates how life's experiences are often visibly etched into our expressions and demeanor. It suggests that our inner emotions and struggles, though invisible, can profoundly impact our outward appearance. In our visual and perceptive society, this quote invites us to look beyond the surface, acknowledging the deeper stories that shape individuals. Forgiveness is the only way to reverse the irreversible flow of history. Arendt emphasizes the transformative power of forgiveness in altering our relationship to the past and its events. This quote highlights how forgiveness can liberate individuals and societies from the weight of historical grievances, enabling a path forward. In a world where past injustices often shape present conflicts, this insight offers a hopeful perspective on healing and reconciliation. Under conditions of tyranny, it is far easier to act than to think. Arendt's observation sheds light on the stifling atmosphere of tyrannical regimes, where action is often dictated by authority rather than individual thought. This statement underscores the challenges of maintaining independent thought and critical reasoning in oppressive environments. It serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of intellectual freedom and the courage to think differently, especially in challenging circumstances. Clichés, stock phrases, adherence to conventional, standardized codes of expression and conduct have the socially recognized function of protecting us against reality, that is, against the claim on our thinking attention that all events and facts make by virtue of their existence. Arendt critiques the societal reliance on clichés and standard expressions as a means to avoid confronting the complexities of reality. This quote suggests that such language acts as a buffer, shielding us from the demands of fully engaging with the world around us. It serves as a reminder of the importance of authentic communication and critical thinking in understanding and engaging with our environment. Love, by its very nature, is unworldly, and it is for this reason rather than its rarity that it is not only apolitical but anti-political, perhaps the most powerful of all anti-political forces. Arendt's observation highlights love's transcendental quality, which stands in stark contrast to the political world of power and manipulation. This quote underscores that love, in its purest form, is inherently apolitical and can even act as a counterforce to political dynamics. In a world often dominated by political agendas, this perspective offers a refreshing view on the power of love as a force for genuine human connection and understanding. The third world is not a reality, but an ideology. Arendt challenges the notion of the third world as a fixed entity, suggesting instead that it is a construct shaped by geopolitical ideologies. This statement critiques the oversimplified categorization of global regions, often overlooking the complex realities of individual nations. Arendt's insight prompts a reevaluation of how we perceive and interact with different parts of the world, advocating for a more nuanced and informed approach. The common prejudice that love is as common as romance may be due to the fact that we all learned about it first through poetry. But the poets fool us. They are the only ones to whom love is not only a crucial, but an indispensable experience, which entitles them to mistake it for a universal one. Arendt critiques the romanticized perception of love, often propagated through poetry, as being universally experienced and understood. This statement highlights how poets, due to their deep engagement with the emotion, may inadvertently portray love as a more common experience than it actually is. Arendt's observation serves as a reminder to approach the concept of love with a recognition of its complexity and individual variations. No punishment has ever possessed enough power of deterrence to prevent the commission of crimes. Arendt challenges the traditional belief in the efficacy of punitive measures as a means to deter criminal behavior. This quote suggests that punishment alone is insufficient to prevent crimes, pointing towards deeper societal and psychological factors at play. It prompts a consideration of more holistic approaches to crime prevention that address underlying causes rather than relying solely on punitive measures. When all are guilty, no one is. Confessions of collective guilt are the best possible safeguard against the discovery of culprits, and the very magnitude of the crime the best excuse for doing nothing. Arendt's statement delves into the paradox of collective guilt, highlighting how it can obscure individual accountability. This quote underscores the danger of using the concept of collective guilt as a means to deflect responsibility and avoid taking action. It serves as a poignant reminder of the necessity for individual accountability and the importance of not allowing the enormity of a crime to paralyze our response to it. Caution in handling generally accepted opinions that claim to explain whole trends of history is especially important for the historian of modern times, because the last century has produced an abundance of ideologies that pretend to be keys to history but are actually nothing but desperate efforts to escape responsibility. Arendt emphasizes the need for historians to critically examine widely accepted narratives, particularly those that simplify complex historical trends. This quote warns against the dangers of ideological interpretations that claim to explain history comprehensively, yet often serve to obscure deeper truths and avoid accountability. It highlights the importance of a nuanced approach to historical analysis, one that acknowledges complexity and resists oversimplification. One of the greatest advantages of the totalitarian elites of the 20s and 30s was to turn any statement of fact into a question of motive. Arendt critiques the strategy used by totalitarian regimes to undermine objective truth by questioning the motives behind factual statements. This quote reflects how these regimes manipulated facts to serve their own agendas, casting doubt on objective information. It underscores the importance of maintaining a critical perspective towards claims that seek to politicize and distort facts for ideological purposes. Only the mob and the elite can be attracted by the momentum of totalitarianism itself. The masses have to be won by propaganda. Arendt's statement points out the differing appeals of totalitarianism to various social groups, noting that its raw power attracts certain elements, while others are coerced through propaganda. This quote illustrates the tactics used by totalitarian regimes to consolidate power, leveraging both brute force and psychological manipulation. It highlights the critical role of propaganda in shaping public opinion and the dangerous allure of totalitarian ideologies to different societal strata. The point, as Marx saw it, is that dreams never come true. Arendt reflects on Karl Marx's perspective, emphasizing the often unfulfilled nature of utopian dreams and aspirations. This quote suggests a critical view of idealism, pointing out the gap between aspirations and practical realities. It serves as a reminder of the importance of grounding dreams in realistic and achievable terms, rather than getting lost in idealistic visions. For politics is not like the nursery. In politics, obedience and support are the same. Arendt highlights the often undifferentiated nature of support and obedience within the realm of politics, contrasting it with more innocent and nurturing environments. This quote underscores the complexities of political allegiance and the blurred lines between voluntary support and coerced compliance. It reflects on the necessity for critical thinking and conscious decision-making in political support, rather than passive acquiescence. Evil comes from a failure to think. It defies thought, for as soon as thought tries to engage itself with evil and examine the premises and principles from which it originates, it is frustrated because it finds nothing there. That is the banality of evil. Arendt's famous concept of the banality of evil is explored here, suggesting that evil often arises from a lack of critical thinking and reflection. This quote delves into the notion that evil is not always the result of deliberate malevolence, but can stem from thoughtlessness and a failure to question. It highlights the importance of engaged and reflective thinking as a defense against the insidious nature of evil. Good can be radical, evil can never be radical, it can only be extreme, for it possesses neither depth nor any demonic dimension yet, and this is its horror. It can spread like a fungus over the surface of the earth and lay waste the entire world. Evil comes from a failure to think. Hannah Arendt, in her nuanced exploration of morality, distinguishes between the nature of good and evil. This quote reflects her profound understanding of evil's superficiality and its pervasive impact on the world. Arendt's perspective reveals that evil, unlike good, lacks a profound philosophical or moral foundation. It is extreme in its manifestation but shallow in its essence. Evil's true horror lies in its ability to spread indiscriminately, causing widespread devastation. In today's world, where extreme ideologies and thoughtless actions often lead to chaos, Arendt's words serve as a warning. They remind us of the importance of thoughtful consideration and the dangers of allowing unexamined beliefs to dictate our actions. The greatest evil perpetrated is the evil committed by nobodies, that is, by human beings who refuse to be persons. Arendt discusses the concept of evil done by ordinary individuals, those who fail to exercise personal judgment and moral responsibility. This quote highlights the dangers of anonymity and conformity in perpetrating evil, where individuals abandon their unique personhood and moral agency. It emphasizes the importance of individuality and personal ethics in preventing the spread of evil acts. There is hardly a better way to avoid discussion than by releasing an argument from the control of the present, and by saying that only the future will reveal its merits. Arendt critiques the tactic of deferring arguments to the future, a method often used to avoid immediate accountability and scrutiny. This quote addresses the issue of evading present-day challenges by claiming that their true value or harm can only be assessed in the future. It serves as a reminder of the importance of confronting and critically analyzing issues in the present, rather than postponing them for future judgment. And the distinction between violent and non-violent action is that the former is exclusively bent upon the destruction of the old, and the latter is chiefly concerned with the establishment of something new. Arendt highlights the fundamental difference in objectives between violent and non-violent actions, with the former focused on destruction and the latter on creation. This quote suggests that while violent actions seek to dismantle the existing, non-violent actions aim to build and establish new structures or systems. It emphasizes the importance of constructive approaches in bringing about meaningful change in society. Action, as distinguished from fabrication, is never possible in isolation. To be isolated is to be deprived of the capacity to act. Arendt differentiates between action, which involves engagement with others, and mere fabrication, stressing that true action requires interaction and is not possible in solitude. This quote underscores the social nature of action, implying that meaningful change and impact require collective effort and cannot occur in isolation. It highlights the importance of community and collaboration in effecting change and taking meaningful actions. Appreciation for joining our journey.